Hey friends, this is Dolynny TV. Glad to have you aboard for a late night post-game edition of an afternoon game. Maybe, maybe not. As the Edmonton Oilers had some bright spots in this afternoon's action against the LA Kings and ultimately some low spots as well. The Oilers had some tough luck with certain lines today in the defensive zone, certain players in particular, in terms of Connor Brown and Adam Henrique. But they also had some really good luck in the offensive zone with a new line put together that, well, was technically maybe supposed to be the second line from the start of the year, but there was maybe some other thoughts about how that was all going to work as well. So we'll discuss that and more here in a matter of moments. But if you are new to the channel, friends, I encourage you to consider hitting that subscribe button here on the channel. Tomorrow, Saturday is today, Sunday is tomorrow. We've got a afternoon Oilers game and then an evening Team Canada World Juniors game here to live stream. So I definitely encourage you to come on by and check that out. So that's my own sales pitch. Now let's talk about that Oilers sales pitch today. That was that second line of Podkolzin, Draisaitl, and Victor Arvidsson. We knew from the onset of the season that Victor Arvidsson was to slot in the second line right hand shot right wing position. Well, that's what he did today, and he really looked good there. I mean, it was kind of almost a comedy effect at sometimes when Draisaitl was force feeding him some passes, but Victor Arvidsson, a guy that brings something that I don't think the Oilers realistically have inside the top six outside of Draisaitl, a guy who's just willing to wind up that one-timer whenever the heck he can. And really, Victor Arvidsson had some dangerous shots, one off the face-off earlier in the game, quite a few, the one he scored the goal on as well, and totaled up quite a few shots, some 5+ today. So it was really an impressive effort from Victor Arvidsson, who's come back from injury, took his time to get healthy, didn't rush back, and now looks like $1,000,000 out there for the Edmonton Oilers, the guy that we did sign to play a pivotal role in our top six. And for the Oilers, the more points that Victor Arvidsson gets you in the NHL season, the better off you're going to feel about the playoff performance to come. And for the Oilers as well, you look at it from a perspective where, yeah, the second line was amazing today. They were awesome. And really just, you wish you could just give them more time. The Oilers, though, somehow, someway found a way to give Adam Henrique 12 minutes and 57 seconds, including time in overtime. I was a little mystified by this. Adam Henrique obviously hasn't been having the strongest year this year, not the worst year by any means, but still not a very strong year as a third-line centerman for the Oilers. And what happened today is he was on the ice for every single goal against, including the one in overtime, where I felt it was almost natural that the Oilers, instead of going to Henrique, would have gone to McDavid and Draisaitl. Instead, Henrique's out there. Yes, make it of what you will about the Stuart Skinner mask thing. That's fine and dandy. But Henrique's on the ice for the nail in the coffin that was the 4-3 overtime goal. So I just find that one interesting, that he takes all the goals against today out there on the ice, and just one of those things where you think, what's going on there? And I mean, not necessarily saying that everybody else had a perfect night and Adam Henrique had a terrible night. No, that's not the case. The third line of Kapanen, Henrique, and Brown are lucky enough to have scored a goal to kind of negate two bad shifts that end up costing them goals. But thankfully for the Oilers today, they did end up, as the game goes on, limiting Kapanen, Henrique, and Brown. And obviously the LA Kings are kind of a different team when it comes to the Oilers. Is the top three lines, the LA Kings, are goal-scoring lines. All three lines straight through score goals. That's what they're meant to do. Whereas the Oilers kind of have a little bit of a different dynamic with Brown, Kapanen, and Henrique there on the third line, where they just kind of, they can hold their own water and maybe score a little bit of offense, but they're not necessarily the third line that the LA Kings have. So keep that in mind here as well, where when the matchups were being played today, maybe things not all as even as they could be. The Oilers will look to even that out come trade deadline, I am sure. But overall, I mean, tough go for Stuart Skinner, who didn't get a lot of help on the goals against today. But again, you would have liked to have a better performance from Stu Skinner, who at one point was rocking 2 goals against, 18 shots against, and had 8, 9, 9 or 9 straight saves to begin the second period, and he was looking stellar. And I mean, he kept saving the puck throughout the second period the whole way through. And things looked like, okay, Stu's going to have himself a night. And then all of a sudden, that goal goes in from Tanner Jeannot in the third period. And it's like, okay, game on now. And the LA Kings, the one thing the Oilers have done well this year at times is limiting shots against. And that's kind of what happened again today. But I think as you see the free game of the week, I think it is today for the Bakersfield Condors down there at the AHL level, Matthew Savoy continues to look better and better by the day. And I think it's only inevitable here for the Oilers that one of Perry or a guy like Derek Ryan gets replaced in the lineup here sooner rather than later when it comes to Matthew Savoy. I know the plan all year long has been to adjust him to the program, get him going at the pro level, and of course get him involved on a regular contributing basis. And that appears to be the case here now for Matthew's voice. I fight off the nasal congestion still. Sorry, apologies there. Voice is going all wonky. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see just how long the Oilers decide to keep Matthew Savoy down. James Hamlin is fully healthy again as well. So if the Oilers see that he can maintain that health for a few days, weeks maybe, he might be an option available to them as well. So the Oilers are probably looking to make a couple of decisions here on the roster, at least in terms of AHL, NHL pieces here over the next few weeks. And then once we're in late January, we're probably starting to make our decisions on trade deadline pieces. But when you've got a guy like Adam Henrique kind of taking on water out there at this point in terms of the advanced analytics, and then you've got Connor Brown kind of starting to rise above, but also have some defectiveness in his game, maybe trying to find him some new line mates on that third line. I know Kapanen and him connected today for a goal, and I like that. Maybe it is just replace Adam Henrique and knock him down to the fourth line. I don't know. But maybe we're not looking for a replacement centerman for the fourth line. Maybe we are looking for a replacement centerman for the third line, and then of course the defense as well. But we'll stay tuned and see what happens here for the Oilers over the next little bit, but I'm looking forward to kind of seeing what the bounce back is like on the back-to-back tomorrow in Anaheim. That, I think, will be very interesting, knowing that Anaheim obviously is Anaheim again this year, and for the Oilers, it's 2 points that they very much so need after dropping a critical point here against LA, right? Instead of going up 2 points on LA or 3 points possibly, they end up in a dead tie with LA in the standings right now, currently tied for the second place spot in the Pacific Division. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. But friends, tomorrow a big day again. Looking forward to having it alongside you. I'm going to sleep in very, very well tomorrow. Enjoy the heck out of it and then get to a long day of hockey. For right now, though, I am up on out of here. Thanks for being aboard.